Welcome parents to back to school night for Glasgow Middle School, September 29th, 2020. My name is Miss Gillis. Before we go any further, if you need YouTube translation, please pause the video and read the instructions on the screen that you might need. So I am a visual arts teacher. I actually teach 3 different courses, so we'll get into all of those courses in just a second. Really quickly about me, I have been a teacher for a very long time. This is my 14th year teaching middle school art. This is my 10th year in FCPS, my 4th year at Glasgow. I live in the area as well. I have a bachelor's in art education from Western Washington University. My master's is in interdisciplinary studies from VCU. I know that sounds a bit like underwater basket weaving. But it just allowed me to pick multiple focuses to work with within art. So mine was crafts and photography. I know how to make handmade books, do all sorts of other really cool things. There's a picture of my dog, Ty, or Tyson. You might see me walking him around the area. There's some pictures with my family there. I have 2 boys, a 9-month-old and a 4-year-old. My husband is also an FCPS teacher. And my favorite thing to do is run. I like to run marathons, now probably more like half marathons, because those 2 boys keep me very busy. As far as learning about visual arts, I really believe that students learn best when they have plenty of time to practice. They should be doing. They should not be just listening to me talk about art. They are going to mess up. They need to mess up and try again and mess up and try again and mess up and try and so on. They need to see tons of visuals, tons of examples, and most of all, feel supported and encouraged. Any of the creative pursuits are going to require that you make mistakes and that be okay. It is okay to make mistakes in art as long as you learn from it and you get better as a result. So to be successful, students should come to class and stay in class until I let them go. Sometimes, don't tell anybody, I let them go just a few minutes early, especially if they're just going to do something on paper. Students will need to persevere through their mistakes and potential failures, but we always try to turn those around and make those into successes. Students will need to be flexible. Things are going to be different than they might be in the classroom. And they're going to need to be creative. So that means not always taking the first idea, but the second, the third, and really thinking it through. For 6th grade art, your student is going to be learning about ideas that relate to the formation of identity and a sense of place within history, within society, and within a culture. So our first project will center around their identity using just some basic markers or colored pencils and also have a digital option. Then we're going to work with the idea of dreams and do a collage, the idea of special places and hopefully do a clay relief tile. More about that later. We will also work on a self-portrait that focuses on watercolor paint. And as long as we have enough time, we will work on a final project where students will have more choice in what it is they choose to do, working from a choice board. For computers in art, you're probably thinking, we should have no problem working virtually. Well, we will be working to integrate digital technology with traditional art media and practices to create original works of art that focus around the role of themes. First, we're going to work on learning some programs, either Photoshop or Pixlr, both of which will be web-based. If we have access to Photoshop, that would be great, but if not, that's okay too. Then we're going to use that information to create some digital collages centering around students' ideas of what roles they play in their lives. Then moving into some character traits that they exhibit and creating a hybrid animal. We're going to try to make a clay sculpture focusing on their achievements, a vector portrait that honors a mentor, and again, some choice in the final project that they do within the course. As far as 3D art, we have so many cool things that we could possibly do. So we will be creating 3-dimensional sculptures, ceramic objects, models, installations, all focusing on the theme of boundaries, again, within society, within history, and within culture. The students are going to start with a design based off a maze that could be digital or paper, a mask out of metal foil, an animal sculpture that could be clay or digital, GIF animation from stop motion. I would love to do a toilet paper sculpture focused on nutrition. And again, a final project that comes from a choice board. Now, all of this is flexible. We will see how much time we need to do these things and do them well. And we'll see what the interests of the students are and what their abilities are, whether we need to make it more difficult or make it a little bit easier. As far as grading and how your student can get a good grade in art, you want to look at their formative assessments. Those are checks for understanding. Summatives are more like what they have learned about the content and skills they have acquired. And then other feedback throughout the school year will also be on the report card, like how they've done with their asynchronous work on Mondays. All the assignments are posted on Google Classroom. I post grades very frequently, probably at least weekly, if not more often. I do not assign homework every evening after class. Students may just need extra time to finish things if they didn't finish what they were supposed to in class. I always accept late work without penalty. So if your student tells you it's too late, that assignment was due, and they cannot do it, that is not true. I will always take late work. And even if something is 2 or 3 weeks late, I will still take it, and I will not take any points off. Their artwork is assessed according to the IBMYP criterion for art. So there will always be a rubric telling them what they need to work on. As far as any support that they might need from me, I'm available for office hours on Monday from 10 to 10:45 in the morning and Wednesday from 2:30 to 3:30. The links for those sessions are on Google Classroom, and that will be through Google Meet. On Blackboard, you'll also find my syllabus, contact information, and the weekly grid information. Google Classroom is where you're going to find all of the actual assignments, though. So everything with all the links, the videos, the supporting documentation will be on Google Classroom for you. You can email me at either of those email addresses on your screen. Obviously, my teacher email at fcps.edu is the official one, but the other one will also get to me just the same. To support your child, talk to them about what they're doing in class. Some of these themes, you heard roles or boundaries, they're kind of deep concepts. And so I want you to just engage in conversations with them if they're interested in having those. Do ask students to share their homework or their grid with you so you know what asynchronous work they have to do. And feel free to check up on their assignments or email me if you think that they have misunderstood anything or they're not doing something correctly. The supplies that they will need for class mostly centers on basic school supplies. They will obviously need their FCPS computer to access the same materials that we all have, but art supply kits will be coming out very soon. So the plan right now is to give students materials on September 28th and then moving on forward that will allow them to do all of the exciting art projects and not require parents to go find certain materials. So they will receive sketchbook, colored pencils, paint, hopefully clay. As I said before, we're waiting on that to come in from the supplier, erasers, glue stick, colored paper, watercolor paper, a whole list of things that would truthfully cost you a whole lot more if you went to buy them separately. FCPS has the buying power to purchase a lot of stuff for very little money. The art fee is for those parents and families who can afford it. Those on free and reduced lunch do not need to stress about supplying that fee. So please don't think that that disqualifies your student from participating in the art program. All of those materials are for this entire semester, however. So if we are back in the building, please make sure your student still has the remaining materials for us to continue working in person with the same things. If you have any questions, please let me know. I know that there was a lot of information I had to cover in a short period of time. So again, back up to the slide where my email was, and you can send me an email. And I look forward to a great semester with your student and your family.